We have finally seen footage of an extremely important ride at Alton Towers testing, and it is great to see it up and running again. Supposedly one of the most painful roller coasters in the US might become more painful and go backwards. And alongside all the reveals and construction of new rides, there has also been a removal rumoured too. Oh, what an exciting time, because all that and even more has happened this past week in theme parks. Welcome back to the most consistent series on YouTube. Yes, you heard me, if you didn't hear me say that in every episode, where we look at all of the news worldwide in the theme park industry. So if there is a topic you want to hear more about that's happened this week, then use the video progress bar chapters below. And if you enjoy, use that subscribe button too. It would be really appreciated. If it's red, click it. Please. With that being said, I think we should get into the news, because I genuinely think that this week may have the most news we've had so far this year. Like I said before, oh, how exciting! Let's just get into it, shall we? First up, some construction of new rides coming this year in 2025 that we've looked at before, but they have continued along, such as Helios at Fantasiana. That is the max striker coaster, not with 4 rows, but potentially with only 2. So technically it's a Big Dipper, and there have been various construction photos posted regarding its construction, with this outer bank here that just looks ridiculous. I don't even know how to explain it. Along with that, Circuit Breaker over at the Circuit of the Americas, the Vekoma tilt coaster, that has been going up nicely as well, and the entire lift and drop structure has now been complete. Alpenfury at Canada's Wonderland, we saw some track being delivered to the park. That has now started going up and the first pieces are now in. A roller coaster at Six Flags has been painted a lovely blue and grey colour from its previous colour scheme. You might be wondering what coaster this is. It's Goliath. And then you're probably wondering, what park is this Goliath at? Because there's so bloody many. The one at Six Flags over Georgia. I swear there's like 7 or 8 Goliaths. Why? Wonder Woman at Six Flags Magic Mountain has a new maintenance shed. These are the lengths we go to on this news show. And Six Flags Great Adventure are going to be announcing their season plans on the 22nd of January, 2 days from now. The main reason I include that, obviously, because that is the park that had Kingda Car. So I don't know if they're going to announce anything to do with that, or maybe do like a day where everyone can come and watch the implosion happen. I thought I would give that a mention, and talking of events that are going on, let's come back over to the UK for a second and head over to Blackpool Pleasure Beach, because they have announced something for their February half-term event, and oh, it's so cracking! Yes, a while back they did say they're going to be opening Nickelodeon Land for the February half-term, so you can go and visit. You can't go on any of the other rides in the park, but you can go on Dora's World Voyage and everything that's in that area. But now they have announced Wallace and Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic will also be open throughout February half-term. I live so far away from Blackpool, but you know my temptation to go there right now just for that ride, although I still think they need to add another scene for the new film, and if they don't, I'll be fuming. But that is an addition to an event, and another event that's sort of having an addition to it in the UK is not necessarily at a theme park, but in Sealife. I don't really know why I'm mentioning this, because now it's this past week in Sealife. But there has been a huge announcement about the fact that Animal Crossing, which is a Nintendo game, is going to be sort of making its way into some of the Sealifes as an event for a bit, which is quite cool. It's nice to see the Nintendo IP coming to a Merlin attraction. Next thing you know, we're going to get Super Nintendo World at Chessington World of Adventures, another area with Jack Black starring in it. But I might as well mention it because this isn't just theme parks now, apparently. Have you ever heard of a place called Zip World? There's quite a few dotted around the UK, and a couple of them do have roller coasters. But the company of Zip World now actually own that massive slide and thing in the centre of the Olympic Park, that weird red... Yeah, they now own that, and that was announced this past week. I might go check it out at some point. It sounds pretty cool. Jetting off to my favourite theme park in the world currently, Europa Park. They have announced plans for a brand new hotel and sort of area called Silver Lake City, and this looks really nice. It is going to be a very western town feel. It's going to have like an eatery and a bar and stuff, but also have 100 rooms as a hotel, hitches for caravans, and also some additional log cabins, which I really hope are not the same as the stargazing pods at Alton Towers. because they're barely cabins, they are just a shed. But some of that will be opening in 2025 and the rest will be opening in 2026. And tell you what is new technically for 2025, but it was supposed to be for 2024 and was for a couple days. Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point. Now, of course, this had a very troubled start to its life, being a conversion of a hydraulic launch coaster by Intamin into a Zamperla multi-launch, swing launch. I don't even know what you even want to call it at this point. Some stuff happened to it, and it hasn't opened since. But Cedar Point have seemed to dodge the answer of when will it open and sort of like, oh, is it actually going to be ready for 2025? Well, there's been a lot of different wording on their websites, but it seems like they are hopeful and are anticipating it will be open for the start of the season on May 3rd, I believe. If it does get fixed completely, I really want to go out and ride Top Thrill 2. It looks insane. 1,700 likes. And I'll do that. Can't guarantee when, but it'll happen. And sticking in America with new rides opening this year, there is a big bad wolf on the loose at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Probably one of the longest names for a roller coaster since Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. We have the big bad wolf, the Wolf's Revenge, coming to Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Opening this year, it is going to be a B&M family inverted coaster, which they love to be doing recently. So that'll be really good and rattly. But as you can see, this is the concept art for the trains, and I think it looks really cool. It looks like a good fun family coaster. And with Busch Gardens this week, there has been a massive rumour circulating about a ride at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay completely closing its doors forever. And the rumour surrounds Kumba, their B&M sit-down roller coaster. I've actually been on this one, and I can say it's a B&M sit-down coaster. But there was a massive rumour circulating from staff and certain people in the community and everything about this ride closing. But apparently, recently, it's been testing or heard testing from a distance. So I don't know how true that is. I think everyone's just a bit paranoid from King Dakar. But it would be a major loss to the park, and it is quite an old ride, so I'm not too surprised if it does happen and it does get removed. But at the same time, I hope we do get a pre-warning, because we did with Scorpion at Busch Gardens Tampa. So fingers crossed they do it for Kumba. Although let's hope they don't remove it. What if we decided to spin ourselves around on a roller coaster? So we're facing forwards right now. Spin ourselves around. Now we're facing backwards. We've seen this on a few different roller coasters over time, but Indiana Beach are making their all-American triple loop roller coaster have a backwards car from time to time. And in the intro, when I said that there's a really painful roller coaster in the US that's going to become even more painful, that's this one, because apparently it's not the greatest of rides. It is an old Schwarzkopf model, so I'm not surprised if it is a little bit painful on the shoulders. And I'm not too sure if making it go backwards is going to fix that roughness. I'm intrigued to see how that goes, because I don't think it's going to go very well. And now we are jetting back over to Europe. Yes, I told you, there's so much news today all over the world. Oh, one exciting week. Next time it's just going to be, oh, a tree's moved at Alton Towers. Yay. But there's a couple more stories before we actually head to Alton Towers, and that's not about a tree just moving. Over in the Netherlands at Efteling, there are brand new plans, very early stage plans, to open 2 family drop towers. If you've ever seen the ones at like Fantasialand or Tornado Springs or Legoland Mythica, the small ones that rotate and just drop you a little bit, like those drop towers. There's a very early plan for them to bring 2 of them outside of Baron 1898, their amazing world-class dive coaster. And I would imagine this is probably in the thought process, but the fact they're deciding to put 2 little drop towers next to this big dive coaster, I think that's a great idea. I look forward to seeing if that opens. But one thing that has opened very recently is in Poland, they have opened a brand new LIM Vekoma family launch coaster. If you've seen Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood, it's very, very similar to that. And it's very much an indoor roller coaster, it looks like. I don't think you're really allowed to film on rides, so no one's captured a POV yet. But it looks really fast from off-ride footage. I'm just really happy that that coaster type is still thriving. I know they've built one and there might be another on the way as well. But to see another one open, lovely. I'd love one of them in the UK, by the way. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, that might be the first major roller coaster to open anywhere in the world this year. Just the first in general. The first roller coaster ever made. And guess what else looks faster than before? That is not a good segue. An Alton Towers ride that is extremely important for both guests, staff, and just the general running of the park. Now we have seen it testing in some footage released by the park. Of course, last week we had the huge announcement of Toxicator, the official name of their brand new Topspin ride. And the way Toxicator looks and how it's been hyped up is amazing. But there's another ride at the park that's going to be reopening that I think will be a lot more important to some people, and that is the Sky Ride. Now, as you may know, Alton Towers is a huge park. I think it's the only park in the world that takes you about 15 minutes to walk from one coaster to another, and about 400 hills as well. And with that being the case, of course, it's a lot of walking, and it's not entirely accessible if there's not some form of sky ride that could easily take you from one place to the other a lot quicker. And a huge renovation a couple years back was supposed to be happening on the sky ride, and it was going to be a very quick renovation and sort of, you know, opening back up very quickly. But through no fault of the current management's own, there was a lot of problems that just backdate to when the park was just not cared for in the previous like 10 years. And now the management actually care about it. They've noticed all these things, and it delayed the sky ride opening a lot. We've seen the stations completely repainted and redone. We've seen the gondolas sat in the station sometimes. We've seen the wheels testing occasionally, but now we have proper footage of the sky ride actually testing over the valleys of the park. And it does look a little bit faster than before. From some angles it looks pretty similar, but other ones it looks faster. So I don't know if I'm just delusional. Maybe I am. But it has been a very long time since any of us have actually seen this running at all. So maybe my eyes just aren't used to seeing it move. But to have this update in the close season showing us that it is soaring through the skies as part of its testing, it is fantastic to see. I appreciate Alton Towers being so open with it now. It's just nice to see it back open. I'm very thankful that they've got it back. No more walking through the cross valleys for 7 hours a day. But yeah, what are your thoughts on seeing the Sky Ride back up and running? I know for a fact on opening day of 2025, I'm not getting in that Toxicator queue. I'm getting in the queue for the Sky Ride. Leave your thoughts on that in the comments below, and everything else if you want to talk about it, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.